Hello and welcome back to ERU, where we round up the biggest results and talking points from across European football. Joining myself, Doogie Critchley, for your viewing pleasure today. We've got Mikey McCubbs. McCubbs, how are you, my good friend?
Yeah, not too bad, Dukes. Not too bad at all. Yeah, I had quite a nice weekend actually. I went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday.
Is that your first time there?
My first time there. Although I quite like to call it the Tottenham Hotspur experience because you're in there. And it's just an assault on the senses, isn't it? It's just like bars left, right, and centre, TV screens. It's like being in kind of American sports bar. And then the actually, once you're in the stadium, it's pretty impressive. Like the sound system's amazing.
Was there a big lights display before kickoff as well?
There wasn't too much of that, but it was just like the sound system was incredible. And like when Harry Kane scores, and then you have this kind of render of him on screen, like kind of magicked up out of magic dust. It feels very it's just all done very well. And a good atmosphere there, to be fair, for an FA Cup game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good atmosphere.
Looked like Spurs played quite well.
Yeah, they were all right. It wasn't an amazing game, but it was like there was a decent amount of action. Brighton played quite well in points as well. So yeah, no, it was good. It was actually my first time at a top level club, I realised, in God knows how long. Definitely since before the pandemic. So yeah, it was nice to get back in a proper stadium and finally taste what the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was all about. How about you, Dukes? How's things?
All good, thank you. All good. No live games for me this weekend, but I did watch Barcelona versus Atleti, which we're coming on to in due course, which was an absolute cracker. Other than that, had a friend's birthday, went out on Friday night, so can't complain. Great weekend. But let's get into the action because there was so much great European stuff this weekend while the FA Cup was playing over here in England. But we're going to kick off with our story of the week. And it's quite an intriguing transfer rumour. Man United and Liverpool are supposedly monitoring Serge Gnabry. What's going on with this one, McCubbs?
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising to see him linked with other elite clubs, really, considering how good he's been over the last few years. Obviously joined Bayern in 2018. He scored 59 and assisted 37 in 154 games since then. That's 0.6 goal contributions per game. This has obviously helped his side to 10 trophies in that time, 3 league titles and a Champions League. But his contract expires at the end of next season, so this summer would be a good time to go in for him if he can't be signed to a new deal. And according to Sky Germany, the winger and the club are engaged in contract poker, apparently, with Bayern unwilling to offer him the wages that he wants. Gnabry apparently wants to earn the same as Coman and Sane, who are believed to be on around £240,000 a week. And judging by his performances, he's been at least, if not more important to the club than those two players over the last few years. Obviously, Sane only came in 2020, didn't he? But if they can't reach an agreement, then this could be a player who could be potentially secured at a cut price this summer. And United and Liverpool are supposedly lying in wait. But Dukes, out of those two, I feel like there's probably one club that seems more of a good fit for the winger.
Yeah, definitely. I would 100% say Liverpool. Now, that seems quite bizarre. Obviously, Mo Salah's been in magnificent form so far this year, arguably being the best player in the world so far this season. Plays on the same side, on the right-hand side, as Serge Gnabry. But, his contract situation isn't clear either. Maybe he'll leave, not this summer, maybe next year if he can't sign that new deal. So we'll see what happens there. But United need to prioritise getting their other Bundesliga right winger going in Jayden Sancho. The 21-year-old has really struggled so far this season. There's no other way to put it, really. Just 3 goals and 0 assists in 24 appearances. Doesn't really seem to be top of Ralf Rangnick's sort of starting 11 picture right now. Ralf Rangnick has said that he's been doing really well in training, that he's often the best player in training, but just hasn't managed to translate that to the pitch so far. But as we say, he was sensational for Dortmund. I think most of us at Team FD still back him to come good at some stage, clearly, given his age and his profile at Dortmund. I mean, 50 goals and 64 assists in 137 games. That's ridiculous given how young he was when he went there. And he just does need a bit more time. But for Liverpool, as we said, Salah's contract situation continues. And Gnabry would be an ideal replacement, really. He's got elite output, even though this season probably hasn't been his absolute best. Just 10 goals and 3 assists in 21 Bundesliga games. I say just that, but it was in 2019-20 when Bayern won the treble that Gnabry was absolutely sensational in particular. And he's already got experience at a top club as well. The only concern from a Liverpool perspective is that Real Madrid and Barcelona are also said to be monitoring the situation. But you feel like with the Barcelona probably in a similar situation to Man United in that they've signed Ferran Torres, they've brought in Adama Traore. They probably don't need him. But for Real Madrid, if they wanted an out-and-out right winger with Mbappe probably going to play through the middle if he ends up going there in the next few years, then he could be a clear step up on Rodrigo and Asensio, who has looked a little bit better in recent months, Marco Asensio, but still Serge Gnabry would be an unbelievable pickup. But Macabs for Bayern, this would be a little bit concerning. This is a player in his prime potentially leaving Bayern over a contract dispute, which we don't often see with Bayern. They normally get such good loyalty from their players. So from a Bayern perspective, this is a little bit troubling, no?
A little bit. I mean, they lost Alaba after a contract dispute last year, didn't they? And
True.
I know he's been a far bigger servant to the club, and I think in terms of they very much had got they'd really got his best years out of him in that sense. But yeah, it is a little bit concerning, especially if they are going to lose another player to a European rival, and a European rival as strong as, say, Liverpool. It's funny, actually, we were talking about Antony as a possible long-term replacement for Salah on Friday, but actually I wasn't aware of Gnabry's contract situation, and actually as a short-term fix, if Liverpool did need to fix that position, there are actually few players in Europe better than Gnabry in terms of fitting that mould as a goal-scoring right winger, stepping into a really solid attacking system. I think he'd be an absolute hit at Anfield if that was to happen. But yeah, I guess it is slightly concerning for Bayern. If I was in the Bayern hierarchy, I would absolutely give Gnabry what he wants. I don't think that is too much to ask of a player who's been so good for the club for the last few years. So yeah, I would absolutely give Gnabry the contract that he wants.
Yeah, I agree, especially having signed Coman down to new terms earlier this season as well. It felt like Gnabry would definitely be my priority at least. But guys, Bayern fans, what do you make of this situation? Do you think Gnabry will actually leave? And Liverpool fans, is he someone that you would love to bring in this summer, maybe next summer? Who knows? Let us know in the comments down below. And let's move on to that result of the week.
As alluded to earlier, our result of the week is Barcelona 4, Atletico Madrid 2. A bit of an unlikely thriller, this one. This comes from @StayMatthews on Twitter. Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, Doogie, what went down at the Camp Nou?
Yeah, I mean, absolute madness in the Camp Nou. But there was madness all across Europe. We were spoilt for choice, really. Leverkusen thrashed Dortmund 5-2. Bayern beat Leipzig 3-2. PSG destroyed Lille 5-1 away. Marseille racked up a big score against Angers on Friday as well. But we felt the result of the week, it's probably the game we were most excited about in big match predictions on Continental Club, was Barcelona's entertaining 4-2 victory that saw the Catalans move 2 points above Simeone's side, despite playing the final 31 minutes with 10 men after Dani Alves was sent off for a really reckless challenge on Yannick Carrasco. Sort of studs up, raked down his calf. And there was no need to do it as well. The whistle had already blown for offside as well. It was really petulant from Dani Alves, actually. And it was a real shame because up till then, the 38-year-old had been really pretty good on the right-hand side for Barca. 88% pass accuracy on the day, 2 key passes, 1 shot, 1 goal and 1 assist for that Jordi Alba absolute golazo, which opened the scoring. Did slightly come off his shin, but it was still a lovely goal. Not meaning to dismiss it by any means. But Dani Alves' goal means that he became Barcelona's oldest ever goal scorer. And then he became the first player to score, assist and get sent off since records began in La Liga since 2004-05. So yeah, absolutely bizarre day really for Dani Alves. But he wasn't the only new signing to shine in this game. Ferran Torres grabbed an assist. It was kind of pretty unfortunate. Fortunate to go down as an assist, I should say. He sort of skewed a shot and it fell to Ronald Araujo to tuck home. I think that was Barcelona's third. Adama Traore also laid on a goal for Gavi and was also generally pretty good as well. 2 tackles and interceptions, 2 dribbles, 1 key pass, 1 shot, and he got a standing ovation when he was subbed after 60 minutes, which, as a La Masia Academy graduate, is nice to see for him as well. But who'd have thought, when he was slightly struggling at Wolves at the start of the season, struggling to get on the pitch, that he'd be getting a standing ovation in front of, I don't even know what the capacity was yesterday or what the attendance was yesterday, but many thousands of Barcelona and Atleti fans. It was a really impressive display for him. He's now got as many assists for Barcelona in 60 minutes as he did in his final 26 games for Wolves, which just goes to show, how low his output was at Wolves compared to his start at Barcelona yesterday. But McCubs for Atleti, not good news, not a good afternoon.
Yeah, no, really disappointing performance defensively, at least, from Atleti. They actually had more shots than Barca in the end, 10-9, 5 on target to their 4. XG remarkably had it at 1.1 to 0.9 in Atleti's favour, but we do have to consider Barca were playing the final half an hour with 10 men and they were 4-1 up. So, I mean, there was plenty of opportunity there for Atleti to kind of create chances, build up opportunities. And yeah, on the balance of play, I think, you could only really give it to Barcelona in terms of defensive solidity, although they were opened up a couple of times. And, just general attacking play. I thought they looked really, really sharp at points in this game. But yeah, some of the goals were sloppy from Atleti's perspective. Obviously, poor marking for Araujo's goal at the back post. Obviously, Ferran Torres probably should have scored that chance. It would have been a pretty acrobatic finish, to be fair. But yeah, bad reactions from the kind of fallout from that free kick that resulted in that goal. No one picked up Dani Alves at the edge of the box for his goal. Completely kind of cut open, and a number of bodies were in the box at that point, but just no one picked him up.
Ball watching.
Absolutely. Oblak could have arguably done better with Gavi's header too, but I do think, Oblak has had a bad season. Like, it's definitely, easily been his worst season in the Atleti shirts, hasn't it? After what has been, 5 or 6 world-class campaigns. His save percentage is 48%, second lowest in Europe's top 5 leagues, which is pretty mad considering that's out of 110 goalkeepers in that metric. He's conceded 8 goals more than XG predicted, which is the 3rd worst in Europe. So yeah, he's having a horror campaign, but I don't think he was really, the main culprit here today. I think Atleti's defence was generally really, really bad, and that's not something that was necessarily the case earlier in the season, where I think Oblak was having a more decisive impact in that sense. The back line just looked really, really poor. They've now conceded 30 league goals this season, which is more than in any of the last 8 completed campaigns. 11 sides have a better defensive record in Spain. Big question marks for Simeone now, because Champions League football is actually on the line, and that's not something that we would have thought about at the start of the season when they went into the campaign as one of the 2 favourites for the title. A big month ahead for Atleti. One positive for them, Carrasco continues to impress, doesn't he? 3 dribbles, 1 key pass, 2 shots, really well taken goals to open the scoring in the first half as well. Sort of Stegen getting a bit of stick for that, but I think actually it was just a really good finish into the side netting. Good game from Carrasco as usual. As for Barcelona and Xavi, they're on a roll at the moment. 1 loss in their last 11 league games. Not all of those have been great performances, but, they're back in the top 4 now. And they look like they're improving. They've won 6 of those games. They've, gone from 9th to 3rd in that time. I don't think, for a relatively inexperienced manager as Xavi coming into his dream job, and after the transfer window they've had, where they've, significantly strengthened that forward line, I think, things are looking pretty positive for him right now. What did you guys make of the Barcelona performance? What do you think of Atleti's chances now of Champions League football? Let us know in the comments below, and let's move on to our Star of the Week.
Okay, it's time to wrap up the show with Star of the Week as usual, and this week, thousands of you, well, I say thousands, about 20 of you responded to my tweet saying it had to be Olivier Giroud. We chose Blazer Stakes as the one to pick out, so congrats Blazer Stakes on getting your nomination in there, but Olivier Giroud. But McCubs, there were some shout-outs for some other players as well.
Yeah, a number of players had really good performances this weekend. I think Vlahovic and Zakaria, congrats to them on, scoring on their debuts for Juventus, making the decisive impact against Verona, didn't they? So, and 2 decent goals as well. Also, shout out to Senegal, who finally won the AFCON, first time in their history. A pretty not a classic final. When are they classic finals, though, to be fair?
Yeah.
But Sadio Mane, what a penalty to win the AFCON. I don't think I've seen such a good penalty in a shootout, especially, the decisive penalty. It was just absolutely ferocious. So, yeah, big shout out to Senegal for finally getting their hands on
I thought the Egypt keeper as well was sensational.
Yeah, he was brilliant. One of the players of the tournament, and yeah, kind of a shame for him really, considering he'd already had to pull them through 2 shootouts, and was just unfortunately on the wrong side in the final. But yeah, back to Olivier Giroud, because what an impact he's had on the Serie A title race this weekend. 2 goals, sealing a comeback win for Milan in his first ever derby. Inter had taken the lead through a composed Ivan Perisic finish, and I think we're generally the better side for the first 70 minutes, had much the better chances. But Giroud, responded really well in that second half, tucked home that Diaz deflected shot, actually kicked off that move by taking the ball off. Was it Lautaro in the middle of the park?
I think it was Alexis Sanchez.
It was Alexis Sanchez, that's it, sorry. I only watched the highlights about an hour ago, so terrible for me there. But yeah, started off that move and finished it off with a great poacher's finish. And then turned De Vrij 3 minutes later to finish low into the corner. I think Handanovic arguably should have saved that. Actually, definitely should have saved that. But nevertheless, really good work in the box from Giroud. And the 35-year-old has now scored 7 and assisted 1 in 15 Serie A appearances this term. Only 8 of those are starts. So he's averaging a goal contribution every 110 minutes. So yeah, what a signing he's been for Milan. I think all of us were pretty confident he'd do well for them. Seems like the perfect kind of profile of player to enter a side like this in Serie A. And yeah, he's been incredibly clinical, and was so in this game as well. 1 tackle, 4 AL duels, scored with both his shots on goal. But yeah, Doogie, like I was saying, Inter probably have a right to feel a bit aggrieved about the outcome of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel Dumfries had a goal ruled out correctly for offside in the build-up there. Not him being offside. I can't remember who provided the cross. Was it Perisic? He was offside anyway. And then Giroud, as we said, appeared to barge into Alexis Sanchez in the build-up to that first goal.
That would have been soft, though. Personally.
Really? I actually thought it might have been a foul. Anyway, he didn't seem to really get the ball. It was a coming together, but you've seen them given, basically. But ultimately, they just weren't clinical enough. XG had it at 1.1 to 1.2 to Milan, so a pretty even game. Mike Maignan made some phenomenal saves as well, particularly in that first half. So shout out him. He could have also been the star of the week potentially. But another talking point was Theo Hernandez's red card in the 25th minute for cynically cutting down Dumfries on the counter-attack. You'd probably say, if you're a Milan fan, you'd probably say that's pretty smart from him. If you're an Inter fan, you'd be pretty furious because they were on the break at that stage. But ultimately, in terms of fans of Serie A from over here in England, we're probably quite pleased because it means this title race is getting even more exciting. So Inter are now on 53 points. Napoli and Milan are both on 52, although Inter do have a game in hand on both of them. McCubs, has this changed your opinion about who is going to win Serie A this year?
I don't think so, because at the moment Inter have still been the best team. And I back Inter to bounce back from a defeat like this. Whereas you say there was, some great saves from Maignan. I loved Maignan coming out as well to stop the Inter counter halfway into the second half.
Yeah.
And, just what a great all-round goalkeeper he is, and what a great signing he's been for Milan. I still back Inter for sure, but yeah, this has opened up the title race once again. It felt like after Christmas that Inter had really stolen a charge and they looked by far the best team in the league. But now, Napoli have come back from that slump around the kind of November, December time. Milan, obviously, a huge win in what is one of the most pivotal derbies we've seen in years. So yeah, I mean, it's all to play for, and it's now on Napoli and Milan to carry on this good form and really give Inter a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to agree. I thought it was fun seeing Pioli run down the touchline.
Yeah, so good.
And then run onto the pitch at full time as well. Brahim Diaz was giving it the big one with the Milan badge. It was a really passionate derby and a great game, and what was a great weekend for European football. But guys, that's all we've got time for on ERU for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. McCubs, what should they go and watch now?
Well, we put out a couple of explains on the weekend across all the challenge. Actually, 3 explains came out on the weekend due to some kind of scheduling difficulties. But yes, a lot to get your teeth stuck into. On EFD, we've got one on Aubameyang. On FD, we've got one on Julian Lopetegui and what he would bring to Man United if he was hard, because he's been linked with the job recently. And also, if you want to get the lowdown on the Derby County situation, we put out an explained on that too.
Okay, and stay tuned for Saturday as well. Exclusive reveal. Season 2 of the Football Pyramid is returning on Saturday. So get excited for that, guys. We will catch you later in the week. Have a good one. Bye.